Man, what an NBA Finals. What an NBA Finals. You're listening to the Urban Sports Scene NBA Finals post-game show in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. The OKC Thunder defeated the Indiana Pacers 103-91. The Thunder are the 2025 NBA champion. Shea was Finals MVP. Shea averaged 30 points, dropped 5 assists, and about 2 steals a game in the NBA. I mean, in the totality of the NBA Finals. His counterpart Jalen Williams averaged 23.6. Obviously, Game 7 was sad because Halliburton pretty much tore his ACL. I mean, excuse me, his Achilles. Excuse me, his Achilles. And dang, that's early in the game. And now obviously he's gonna miss all the next season, because when you have an Achilles towards the end of the season, you're pretty much gonna miss the whole season. The whole following season. That sucked for real. Mark, hey, what's going on, Mark? Mark said I wanted 7 games, got 7 games. It definitely was, man. It was definitely a good showing, bro. Definitely a good showing. Mark said a study has to be done about how OKC develop players. I mean, they just do a great job at drafting and finding great talent. I agree with you. The study definitely has to be made. George said, finally, there you are. The Halliburton injury will be the blame, but the same problem that killed the Indiana Pacers all series killed them tonight. Too many turnovers. Agreed. Yeah, this too, man. Yeah, Halliburton, Lillard, and Tatum are gone. Miss the majority of next year. Yeah, that sucks, man. Oh, I said Mark. My bad, Mike. I know, my bad, Mike. I'm tripping. I glanced at him. Sorry, Mike. Yeah, Mike. This is Mike Pat, man. Mike does great work, man. So make sure you make sure you pull up the mic, man. Mike has great stuff on social in terms of sports. He actually works with Korea at times too. So Mike, I know what you are. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, man. No excuses. I'm with you, man. We won't get into all that, man, because I feel like people are trying to use that excuse card, and I'm not for the excuses. And Mike, we're gonna talk about that too, about what you just stated, because I am so high on that kid. I am so high on that kid. All right. If I didn't introduce myself, I'm Wole. We're gonna have a special guest, actually. Justin Lee from the Above the Rim podcast will be joining me shortly, so we'll have him pull up. Before we get into all that, let me knock out some particulars. Hey, check out our website, which is theurbansportscene.com. You can subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene. Also like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. What else? Also join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Just search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right, you're gonna give them overall. But I want to put out some thoughts that Mike has out here. Mike says, I told people that with Mathurin coming back, they would be even better this year. I agree. He also said Mathurin is a trade piece potential if they want to make him available. I agree with that too. Lou, Tyrese averaged 14 points. Stop saying he was the man. All right, we'll get into it. So obviously it sucks. Tyrese Halliburton went out early. Was that the first quarter he went out, or second quarter? First quarter he went out with the Achilles injury. And that sucked, right? Like, because you knew that was going to be used against, like, if OKC won, that's going to be used against them. That's going to be part of the story now. But what, like Lou said, and what Mike said, what George said, I don't think that's anything that, truth be told, like, I won't say it's the reason they lost this game. I felt like we got the same Pacers team, right? They fell behind and they still had the grit. I do think it changed the dynamic of pace, right? Like, and obviously too, at the same time, when you look at, like, now TJ McConnell has to play a different role, right? Now he's the starting point guard. So when he's the starting point guard, you don't have that backup. You had to have Nembhard play point guard, and he's not a playmaker. Nembhard is a scorer, right? So you're missing that maestro, like Mike said. Like, Halliburton was the man for that team. It's not just about points, but the flow of the game. I agree. He is their maestro of ceremonies. I agree. That's what I'm like. He creates the pace for the squad, right? So that's something you did miss. Like they only scored 91 points. Their pace was off, right? But like George said, turnovers were always an issue with this team. When that's a consistent thing. With Halliburton there or whatnot, they turned the ball over. The only person who played well, Siakam has been the most consistent player. Halliburton had a good game. He was having a hot game. He was 3 for 4 from 3. So we can always say so it's fair to say if he was in the game would have been much more closer. It wouldn't be OKC probably would have ran away in that second quarter like that. Their offense got real stagnant as well. So you got to put that out there. George, well, you can definitely take your Siakam victory lap. Yeah, Siakam's been the most consistent player for this team throughout the whole postseason for Indiana. Throughout the process. But my overall thoughts on Game 7 is just I thought that Shea set the tone early in that first quarter in terms of keeping his team afloat because I didn't feel like OKC played like the others. I'm going to use that term. The others, even Jalen Williams, I didn't feel like they played a great game in that first half, especially the first quarter. Shea kind of kept them afloat. And Caruso, I thought Caruso, both those two individuals kept them afloat throughout that the first quarter and the second quarter, in the first half. And I thought Indiana's role players kind of came to play. Like I thought Nembhard came to play. Obviously, Mathurin came to play. They made big shots. I thought Miles Turner gave them some sparks. So I felt like Indiana, like the others, if we're gonna use the Shaq term, the others, those individuals came to play for this team. But I didn't think that I felt like in the beginning of the game, you felt like it was a Game 7, right? Like some guys were tight. I thought a lot of dudes from the Thunder were tight initially. Mike said, I'm putting Mike out there. Mike says Siakam is one of my favorite players in the NBA, but he didn't show up in the second half tonight. Yeah, he didn't. Which is, I felt like, yeah, he didn't. I'm not going to play that off. Second half, he wasn't what he was throughout. George says the Pacers had 9 turnovers in the first half. They had 8 in that they had 8 in the third quarter, and OKC outscored them 18-0 points off turnovers. As a result, the Pacers were cooked after that. All right, I got my guy here, man. I gotta make sure I can't waste any time because he's my dude. What's going on, Justin? What's going on, bro?
Yo, Wole, what's up, my brother? How you doing, man? Yeah, I made it, man. I'm here.
I'm glad you're here, man. Look, I gotta have my guy. When I want to talk ball and talk, hoop, I gotta have my guy with me. So, all right. So I'm at what were your overall thoughts on Game 7?
Yeah. My thoughts are a little indifferent,
Okay.
because it started off of hype. I felt really excited, going into the game.
Yeah.
We might be for a decent matchup. You look at all the numbers going into 7. A lot of them were fairly for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
This series, a tad bit unpredictably after Game 1, but I was, feeling real good going into it, knowing we were going to get a solid game. But then when that Halliburton injury happened, it just sucked the air out of the room, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's like, it wasn't completely over. I know Indiana, they have made plenty, especially in this postseason, but I never thought for 1 minute that they were gonna actually win this game against after Halliburton were down. And look how he started off too. He started off hot. He was ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the thing. And we're all talking about this in the chat. He was hot, and I don't want to discredit, to your point. I don't want to discredit what OKC did, but it did suck the win out of the game, right? Because whatever happened, if OKC wins, some folks are going to say, well, Halliburton was out there, you know what I mean? And that sucks, right? Because in the end, I felt like throughout this series, it wasn't like Halliburton was the best player throughout this series for Indiana.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I don't want that to be the thing, because I felt like for a while, I've said this. I thought TJ McConnell, you want to say I thought many times he was the one. He was the one. So and what I was saying in the show was the issue. I felt like what definitely made it hard for Indiana, obviously, and like Mike said in the chat, Halliburton's about pace. He's the maestro.
Yes.
So you're gonna miss that. But also a damning thing is that you don't have a secondary ball handler or creator. Now once he's hurt, TJ McConnell can all right, he slides to your number 1 point guard, right? You don't have the backup for that. So when TJ comes out the game, you got Nembhard playing the 1. Nembhard to score. He's not a 1. So you're missing that vision, that you're missing that. So that's what I felt like hindered them more. It's not that just Halliburton was out. It's that you don't have a secondary dude who can set people up. That's it. Now, because TJ ain't gonna play the whole game. Like he ain't playing the rest of the game. So now it's gonna be harder for Siakam to get his easy buckets. It's gonna be harder for Miles Turner to get his easy buckets. It's gonna be harder for Obi Toppin, who was getting set up by Halliburton to get those easy.
He played very well. Obi Toppin was very impressed.
He did. So I just feel like that injury had a snowball effect.
Yes, I agree. But also, let's be fair. Any team missing their top gun is going to be down in the series, let alone a game 7 of the NBA Finals. This is for all the marbles. The emotions, you got to think of the emotions of the game going in, and then the emotions of the game during, and then the emotions of the game after they got to their hot start. They're like, oh, shit, we could win this.
I know, facts.
What he was saying, I know Halliburton, you look at it after that time, he was talking so much shit after the first time. Said, oh, nah, they couldn't hold me today. That's why low-key, it did crush me. I'm not going to lie. I'm not even like a Halliburton guy, but I felt, oh, man, this is terrible. Like, it was deflating was the word that I could use that best describe, how every that moment, it was just deflating. And you knew it was an Achilles pop immediately.
Yeah, of course.
Like, the way he went down, it's crazy as my brother's recovering from an Achilles tear that he just playing 2 months ago. So I close hand of all the rehab and that goes into, actually a ruptured Achilles, and it's no joke. So the momentum, but credit to the Pacers battling the whole game. Credit to the Pacers, credit to everybody on that team, credit to Jim Carrey, aka Rick Carlisle, for being an man, because he got those boys, playing hard no matter what. And Pacers win. I wanted the end for the Pacers to be injured them hard. I feel like exceptional in the series. The SGA was best that I've seen this entire season. My man, them. So I want to take an opportunity to show him some love individually and show how excellent he has played in the series. But about OKC, man, I mean, they won. They got it. They got to say whatever they want to say, injured or not, got it done. They took care of business. Whoever's in front of you, they beat healthy teams all year. They beat healthy teams in the playoffs. Who was injured that they played in the playoffs? John Morant, one game in the first round.
Yeah.
Was anybody injured in the Nuggets series?
No. They beat the Nuggets.
Oh, Aaron Gordon, right?
But he came back. Yeah. Was he? But
he was in game
fried,
7, but
though.
he played.
He played,
but he was hurt for game 7.
Yeah.
Timberwolves, did they have any injuries?
Nah, Timberwolves are good.
I don't believe they had any. They just beat them.
They just beat them. That was just yeah.
That to me, that's a clear run. That's a clear run. And they battled the Pacers all the way up until the 7th game. So OKC deserves a ton of credit. SGA deserves even more credit for being the first dude the 5th play and at the street during the title.
Yeah.
And Finals MVP as well. So shout out to him for making history with that, and the first person to do it since Shaq in 2000. So shout out to him for that. I think this was one of the good seasons we've seen from a guard. Not the greatest, but one of the greatest from a guard in the history of the NBA. The way he played this entire season, averaging over 30 a year. Come on, man. Couldn't guard this dude. He did struggle a little bit in the final. With him struggling, he still averaged 30.
Yeah. So
that's how you know you're a great player. So shout out to OKC Thunder, and they played pretty excellent in this. But the Pacers were better than them, so they had a fight.
Yeah, I just felt like there's one thing about Carlisle, I gotta give him credit, like Jim Curry, who you referred to. Hilarious.
Bro.
They don't quit, man. Like I'm gonna get the Pacers, they don't quit. That's why, because that's why I was kind of getting annoyed. I had to mute Richard Jefferson because he was kind of like annoying me. Yeah, so I had to he was talking about how OKC they're playing down. They're not up because the Halliburton's out. I'm like, no, that's not it. That's just not it. That's it sounds good, but that's not it. Don't try to put that narrative. What it was that Indy was playing harder. Like sometimes when you missing something, you play harder. Like you feel like you got to do a lot more. So they were just more scrappier. That's just what it was. And then you saw that at the end. It wasn't like at the end of the game. Like it's like anything when you're desperate and you know you're about this is your season. This is your season. It's about to end. Like, look how they closed that 22-point lead to like 10 to 12. Like how they fought back.
It doesn't matter what stage, what time of the game is. They're trying to come back.
Yeah, so that's my thing. Like, I just feel like, to your point, Indiana deserves a lot of credit. Carlisle deserves a lot of credit. Rick Carlisle is a fantastic coach. Like, because if you don't get it now, understand. Just to your point, like, look what happened in this game where you lost your best player and you went up and you lost your all-star and you one of your best players and you were up at half 48-47.
It's excellent.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that means your team defended because you scored one. You held OKC to 47 points in a half. That means you defended and you play at a higher level. So to me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just feel like he deserves credit for that. For OKC's point of view, like, I just feel like, they had good role play. Like, I feel like people like Caruso kind of helped them maintain, trying to kind of gather momentum. Because I'm gonna be real with you. I mean, SGA started off pretty good, but I thought he was kind of like,
he was a little shaky.
A little shaky. He scored a lot, but it was, wasn't efficient. He was a good playmaker, getting everybody involved. I think Lou Dort, your man.
I think he had 12 assists.
12 assists. Yeah.
I guess because from last game, I believe he had 0 assists. If I'm not mistaken, last game or the game before, he had 0 assists, which was the first time in the season that he had 0. So he bounced back from that well and made. I saw him. He was making it a point, a playmaker in this game. Every in the post. Every time he was waiting for you notice, because he noticed they clearly watched film and said, okay, they doubling me, not on the catch, they doubling me on the first dribble. So they were waiting to dribble first and double team them. So he was looking for the open man all night. So I think he played pretty well. I think there was a lot of emotions going on in Game 7, and this series was very predictable. So that was the thing. It was an unpredictable feeling. You know what I mean? These were two teams that, the casual fan doesn't really know too much about. So you never know what was going to happen in this series. And both teams played well. I got to say, it was still a very solid game. I would say it was still an excellent game. So I got to give both credit.
I agree with Mike, man. Caruso and adding Hartenstein was huge for the Thunder past offseason. I agree, man. Like
that was the pickups that season, those two.
Yeah. Playing championship, but they play. Well, Hartenstein didn't win, wasn't a champion, but he plays championship basketball.
Exactly.
Caruso, obviously, he just plays. He was on the Lakers team, but he plays championship basketball. Like that, what he did in terms of cutting, when they needed, in terms of cutting, getting that flash for easy dunk, big defensive plays. The hustle, he helped will them in this game, to be honest with you. Because I don't think this wasn't even OKC's best game. Like, I felt like they're real sloppy. They played scared, like you said. It was a Game 7. Let me not use the term scared, because that's a little harsh. But it's Game 7. Everybody's a little tight. You know what I mean? Like, and you can see it. Like, these dudes were very, very, very tight. So, what stood out to you the most about Game 7?
The most, I would say, SGA's passing.
Okay.
I think I kept saying that in my head. I was like, oh, he's making the right play.
He was, though.
Like, he has a great ability of fully seeing, the opportunity, or fully forcing the shot. There's occasional times where he'll force up a shot, but it's very rare you really see damn, that was a terrible shot from SGA. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though some of them may look a little unorthodox, or some look like, he's drawing fouls or looking for contact, whatever case may be, he still is always under control. He's always poised. Every bucket seems to be very crafty.
Yeah.
He's a mid-range tactician. He shoot a lot of threes, but he'll take it if it's available. I just love SGA's all-around game as a guard. He's a complete offensive player. You know what I mean? Like, he can score from all angles, and I was very impressed by his passing today. He made it a point to go in there, pass the ball. I thought Chet Holmgren's defense was solid tonight.
Man.
His defense was very solid tonight. Protect rim.
Yeah.
On the Pacers side, definitely McConnell, of course. I think excellent in his role. But as far as they're one of the few teams that free player is a star. Every
Yes.
single player on the team is a star in his role, and I think that's what works best for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and that's what allowed them to be so successful this entire season. And throughout the season, they're rewarded for it. So they play as a team identity, and I really love the way they play ball every night. They play hard too.
All right, no, I'm doing myself a bit. I'm doing you a big disservice, man. Lou Dort, dog, like that's your dude. Like, talk about Lou Dort, the way he played. Like,
Come on.
You got a whole state. You have a whole little nickname for the dude. Like, what am I doing here?
My boy Spec New.
What am I doing? What am I doing here? I'm talking about everybody else with Lou Dort. What am I talking about?
Respect, dude. How much did he? I didn't even look at his numbers tonight.
Like, I got his numbers here. Like,
what's his numbers tonight? I don't even look at the numbers when it comes to Lou, Jen.
Because
I don't even look at the numbers.
He was just hooping. All right, Lou.
Impact.
He was plus 12. That's
plus 12. Okay. I like how much he had? About 10 tonight.
He had 9 points.
Oh, 9. All right, I was
9, okay. And he was. Who was he?
Hold on. Not just a 9. It was a forceful 9.
It was a force. That's what I'm saying.
Yo,
he shot 9 threes though. Like he was 2 for 9 threes. Yeah, he shot 9 threes. He was 2 for 9 from 3.
Shot a 3.
He had 2 for 9 for 3 from 3.
Was every shot that he took tonight a 3?
Nah, but okay. One.
I don't remember him going to the basket at all. I don't remember that.
He was
chill. That's my man's brand. That's my man's role. My man Spec New. That's his role. But you know me, I said Lou Dort final MVP. I like but Lou Dort, my personal finals MVP is Gilgeous Dort, aka bringing it back to if y'all didn't know, go back and look at the bubble series, OKC Thunder back at. But shout out to Lou, man. I'm happy my boy's a champion. First team all defense this year for the first time. He was snubbed every year.
Yeah.
Now he's the NBA champion. Shout out to Lou. He should have a defensive player award in career sometime. But shout out to that, man. And this was a great championship. You know, now the NBA is full of parity now, man.
Yeah.
Anybody can win. This has shown anybody can win.
Yeah, and when I want you to mention Lou Dort. Like, to me, stats don't really explain what he did tonight. Like, I really think he had a big impact. Like, the way he defended, the way he, that steal against McConnell, when McConnell had the fast break, he went and plucked it from behind. Like, the hustle. Yeah. Like, I just feel like Lou Dort makes, just like, he's a champion now. He deserves to be a champion. He makes champion plays. Like, that's the thing about him. So, like, when I say that, like, I don't look for him to score 30 or 20 points. Like he did in game 1 when he had a great game 1, even though they lost. Like he played great in game 1. I look at him as a guy that he does all the dirty work. That's what he's and he does it at a high level. So there's a reason why he was plus. And I don't go for plus and minus. I'm not a plus minus dude. But with him on the court, I can see why he's the plus 12 because he's that type of player.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
When he's on the court, he makes Shay's life easier. He makes everybody's life easier, especially on the defense side of the basketball.
Yeah.
What's up, Barbershop? What's going on? What's up?
Yo, what up?
He said, what's up? What went wrong with the Patriots tonight? Is exactly what's cost them games throughout the series. Turnovers in bunches. Don't know if Tyrese could have saved them tonight. Prayers to him. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm saying, a lot of them, like Tyrese is a point guard who tends to not turn the ball over at times a lot. So he's the one thing he's had games where he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. But the other dudes like Siakam and them, they've been turning the ball over throughout the whole series. So I'm not going to act like that wouldn't have happened.
The entire series, in the first quarter.
Yeah. So I'm not going to do all that. Mike said, Lou out there playing linebacker on defense and spotting up at 3. He shot over 40% from 3 in the finals. Yeah, he did. He had a good finals in terms of shooting basketball, especially in OKC. He shot really well in OKC. So the Knicks have no excuses next year. Because everybody hurt. Who coach? Yeah, who's who coach? Yeah, I don't know who coaching the Knicks. All right, so I want to ask you, so what's next for Indiana? Because they're going to lose. Obviously, Tyrese Halliburton's going to miss the whole year next year.
Oh,
that's the
man.
thing. So what's next for them? For real.
Crazy. They're a complete mark now. Now going into the next year without the injury, people will probably have the Pacers as the favorite. Going into the East because the East is in flux.
Yeah.
The East is real crazy next year.
Real crazy.
The East is really out of control, to be honest. There is no favorite in the East. I don't want to hear anybody say somebody's favorite. There is no
Tatum, because Tatum gonna be out
You
there.
want to talk about the Cavs? The Cavs ain't no damn favorite. The Cavs are
Nobody
no
trusts the
favorite.
Cavs, bro.
I
Nobody
never believed in the Cavs, and I don't know why people believe in the Cavs. Absolutely not. No way. So they are no favorite. There are no favorites in the East. So it's gonna be East is gonna be super intriguing next year. And the Pacers, they're a team, like we said before, doesn't fully necessarily rely on one player. So they do have to step in next season and can play for Tyler. And of course, they're going to be using. They're going to try to put the point guard, to fill the void of Tyrese. But they can just pick up a point guard that knows how to play with pace because they already have a system. They already have an identity in place. So they just have to play with another guy who can do those same things. I think they'll still be competitive. But it's gonna be it's going to be in the East, man. I like the Magic though. Magic going into next season.
Oh yeah, because you like Bane. You like the
Yeah. I'm a big guy. I'm a big Desmond Bane guy, and I think he's a phenomenal pickup for them. I would pick up a point guard, but I could take Bane because that's about 20 to 25 a night.
So I've been saying Sixers fans saying they got a chance next year. That's a tough one in the East. I mean, I guess I can go with the Knicks. I think I'm fair to say the Knicks just because I feel like you have everybody.
Favorite?
I'm not gonna call it favorite. I think
no way. Favorite. Are you crazy?
I don't know if the Magic. I gotta see how it worked together with the Magic. I gotta see how it looked with Bang.
I agree, but the Knicks are no favorite. First of all,
who gonna be
over it in the East? There is no.
That's what I'm saying. I don't favor. I'm not calling a favorite. I say who. If I had to say who I likely would. Because that's not a favorite. I agree with you. It's not like it's the overall.
You don't know what's going to happen in free agency. People, this team's going to change in about 2 weeks.
That's true. 2 weeks. I don't know that the East is so wide open because the injury.
You don't know what the Sixers is going to do with that third pick too.
That too.
Ace Bailey. Maybe they moving on. Maybe they trade that. We don't know because that also plays a big factor.
They don't need to get no Ace Bailey. Leave Ace Bailey alone. They don't need to get no Ace Bailey. So when you look at the Thunder, do you see a dynasty? Everybody's young. Jalen Williams dropped average about 23 in these finals. That's him and Shea combined. That's 30 and 23. You know what I mean? That's big time in the NBA.
I think he had the second most points duo all time. I believe after Kyrie in the series. So shout out to them.
It's like about 53.
Yeah. What do I see? Going moving forward or dynasty?
Yeah. You got dynasty?
No, I'm not going to use the word dynasty yet because I don't like using that word dynasty unless I know that you're an unbeatable team. There's no dynasty. This team is not unbeatable at all in the slightest. Right. They played this season, but they were not unbeatable. Dynasty, absolutely. Next season they could easily get knocked off in the first round, second round. But they are a quality, solid team. They're gonna go into next a quality, solid team. Probably be the favorite of us. But they can be knocked off just like they can be knocked off in the first round. To be honest, or win the champ. That's how stacked the West is.
Oh yeah, definitely more stacked today. man, definitely more stacked today.
Got even better today.
Got even better. Today, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to go deep into it, but y'all know Kevin Durant's in Houston, so y'all know it's hot. That's a big one. So all right. So do you feel like this NBA Finals produced? Like obviously, going into it, people were talking about the small market, and do you feel bad for Seattle because this could have been the Supersonics championship?
Yeah. Well, hopefully they come back and then an expansion or something like that. Do I feel like it delivered?
Yeah.
For me personally, or for the general public?
For the general public, I feel like for basketball fans, it delivered. I feel like in terms of the general public, like did it sway other people? Did they get to learn about Shea? Did they get to learn about Tyrese Halliburton?
I think they did.
Okay.
If the goal was to learn about those two individual players, and also maybe I would say a third. I think a lot of people learned about J-Dub.
J-Dub too. Yeah,
learned about him, especially with his performance. He got a lot of love for that. Yes, I do also believe a lot of people found out about TJ McConnell. A lot of people didn't know.
Yeah.
I think his popularity, took a rise. So I think it did honestly do. I think it delivered. You know why? I will say this.
Yeah.
I think the finals did deliver what it gave more importantly is hope.
Yeah.
Hope any team can win. Hope that
Mm.
any to the finals. Hope that with one right move, one right signing, maybe one right injury for the other team, you can get
Mm-hmm.
to the finals.
Mm.
And look at it, how the stock has risen. People are looking at Indiana. No, Indiana was such a you know. I didn't realize. Well, I was on crowd. Their crowd middle in the finals. If you notice,
Yeah.
their crowd in the finals. So you learned a lot about the Indiana team. A lot of both of these teams, built through the draft and through some minor trades. So you can consider homegrown. Both teams, they developed. So the chemistry between each team, they got better. So I would say deliver. Yes, it wasn't the sexy name stars in there, but we did have a superstar. Esther
Mm-hmm.
is a superstar. It's
Facts.
the casuals don't know yet. Well, they will
Yeah.
now. So I would say the finals delivered. If
Yeah.
you get a little bit about basketball, you're tuning in. It may not be must see TV for the casuals,
Yeah.
but I think it delivered in that aspect.
Yeah, I think it delivered too. I feel like it probably would have overly delivered if because I think for like casuals lean to game seven, especially as
Yeah,
basketball. Like I feel like
yeah.
casuals will come and watch game seven. And I do think the Halliburton injury kind of like hurt it a little bit. I feel like with Halliburton,
In game that took it took the win of the game at that point.
yeah, and I feel like for a casual, if you're like getting into it, you're gonna be like, dang, he took like that's something I think they can take out of it. But to your point though, I do think a casual will watch a game seven, they'll look at like Shea and like, oh, that Shea dude's pretty good. Or they'll say, like, oh, like who is this tall, skinny white dude? Like who
Mm,
blocking all the shots? You know what I mean?
mm.
Like, or who is like, Jalen Williams, like a guy like I feel like they all start to pay attention. And even on the like you said, on Indiana side, like TJ McConnell got a lot of love. Man,
He got
that's
a
one
lot of
dude,
love in this series,
bro. I'm
and
telling you,
rightfully so.
man. I don't know his contract situation,
Yeah,
but
I feel like he just signed one like a year or two.
yeah,
He's
but
definitely gonna get an extension.
yeah, I'm like he made some money.
Yeah,
He's
he
made some.
definitely made some. My boy Nemhard makes some money.
Nemhard made some money. Nesmith made some money. If you really watch throughout the
Naismith, absolutely,
Naismith made some money. He made
hell
some
yeah,
money, and
especially in
now
the series. Yep.
yeah, and I feel like if I'm Obi, I'm thinking like yo, maybe I need
Oakley too. He played
Obi
well.
like
He
I ain't
had
gonna lie to you.
money in the finals. He played
Yeah,
very well. Very well. He was playing small ball five, and I think that's what he'll make.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say like, and I think my man Mike said it. I do.
Mm.
I'm a big Matherin fan, dog. And we about to end this stream, but I'm a big Matherin fan, and I feel like I need this dude to get traded. I need this dude to get traded.
To do what though? To start?
To start somewhere, just like when they
To
did with
start
James
right now?
Harden, like they did with James Harden and when James Harden he was in OKC, he wasn't really starting OKC, he was coming off the bench. And like it's similar to me because he's a bucket. Like he's a bucket.
He is.
It just is. And it's like it is now next year with Halliburton being out, maybe he gets lit into the starting lineup.
Yes.
And we have Nemhard place at one. I don't know what their situation is going to be. They may have to sign a one. Maybe they slide CJ McConnell in as one. I don't know TJ McConnell, excuse me, into the one. But I don't know what they're going to do because they're going to need a one.
Yeah.
They're going to need a one. Either they want to play TJ at one or they want to try Nemhard.
I think he off the bench because that's where he excels.
Okay.
But TJ excels at off the bench.
He does, yes.
Yes. So I think they keep PJ off the bench. I would keep TJ off the bench to sign a starter, but it's gonna be hard to sign a starter. Not like there are many available.
Facts. I mean, what's Chris Paul doing?
Not over there, brother. No way, brother. Not over there. Absolutely not.
My man, Mike,
because I don't know what he's gonna do. I'm gonna be honest, man.
He wasn't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why not?
Be in Dallas.
Hey, man, you just lost. You
You
don't think he can? Like, hey, Hallie got help getting to the finals. You don't think Chris Paul can give him that wisdom to get him back to the finals?
He can, but I don't want it with them boys. They no way.
All right, I'm just saying. Hey,
I wouldn't want that.
I can tell you wouldn't want that.
Hell no.
Mike said, "I want Matherin in Chicago." I know it isn't going to happen though. Man, to Matherin is a bucket, bro.
Definitely teams will be looking into Matherin. Yeah, looking to throw a deal at him because he does look quality.
Yes,
20. He's like he's a very Malik Monk-ish
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. But he got the size though, so it kind of works for him. He got like the size.
Too.
Yeah, he got the size. It's just like I just feel like it. Like you know, I like Malik Monk. We about to close this down, but you know, I like Malik Monk. But like the thing that hinders Malik Monk for other teams to be believers and say he's going to be a 2 is his frame. Mathurin got frame. He's got the body type. Yeah. He's got he's a 3-level scorer.
Yeah,
like that's to me. He's like a dude that like if I'm looking to say no, I can get him for the cheap. Trade for him and I can make him a star, just like how the Rockets did with James Harden. Yeah. Like they gave him a big contract, but for what he was, they were definitely getting him on a bargain at that particular point in time. Yeah. I would do the same thing with him.
Yeah. I like. He's definitely solid. He's definitely gonna have an increased role next season. So we'll see.
I mean, yeah.
How he works out with that. He's solid.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man. I mean, just let folks know how to catch you on social, catch your content, catch you. Period.
Catch me on Twitter, Instagram @_513 above the rim podcast. There, be back with some episodes soon. I feel like I said that shit.
It's happening soon.
I told you all a lot of shit going on.
I know it's happening soon. My man won't be here soon.
It's happening soon, bro. It's just a lot of stuff going on. Exactly. But yeah, man. I appreciate always for bringing you on a show, man. As always, we always keeping that. We're gonna see what type of having free agency. Link up again. Going into that one too. And we gotta discuss this KD trade because we need to go in depth on that.
Yeah, we're going to. That's what we're going to. Believe
definitely we'll be getting to. Definitely when we get more into free agency, get into all that stuff, discuss that a lot more. But I appreciate you, bro, always for bringing me on the show and man, we got a season in the books. I'm happy to wrap up the season with you. Put a bow on the season, brother. Now we get to the draft this week, real quick.
Woo!
Like turnaround, bro. 3 days, brother.
Turnaround.
I'm like, yo, the turnaround is crazy, and then free agency is the next week.
Yes.
So. We in for it, man. We about to have another spicy 2 weeks in the NBA. I love to see it.
Look, man, a lot of stuff happening. Like I feel like the NBA trying to take shine from the finals, man. My Lakers selling their squad. Diddy Busters selling them a squad.
Damn, I forgot about that too. Yeah, in the middle of the whole thing.
They ain't slick. KD getting traded. Folks ain't slick, man. Right the day of the game 7. What we doing here? Like I ain't slick.
That was suspect to me. It was very suspect. That
wasn't it though?
Day of. I feel like it was already worked out to be maybe yesterday before, but for some reason they chose to annul, which was, I was surprised about.
I ain't gonna lie, I thought that was nasty work. That's a whole different.
Said today.
Yeah, I think it was nasty work for them to put out that trade today.
Yeah. I didn't like that either. It took away a little bit from the shine of Game 7. It was kind of whack. Like you could have waited till tomorrow morning. Yeah, it would have had the same effect.
Because truth be told, for a lot of people, that was bigger than the finals for Game 7.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people care about that the most. They care about the transaction. So that was definitely suspect timing. But oh man, you don't see, man. Free agency come.
Definitely, bro. Definitely. All right, folks. Thank y'all for pulling up. Man. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Say for Aegis. You dig? Doses. We are